Do you guys remember a couple months ago those hurricanes that were, ravaging Florida and the Carolinas, Milton, Milton and Helene?
Helene, the
You
ones
remember
that
those?
were not being weaponized.
Yeah, well, apparently FEMA was playing politics when it came to those houses, for whose houses to help and who's not to help. So last week, FEMA official Marnie Washington was fired for telling workers to skip homes with Trump signs when helping after the hurricanes in Florida. She even said she was on Roland's podcast, and I'm going to show you here shortly. She said that this wasn't a one-time thing. It also happened in the Carolinas, which were hit by the hurricanes as well. And could you do me a favor, Connor? Could you show the text that FEMA, the crew was getting from FEMA? Guys, if you guys could put this up, pull it up on the screen. Please. It says implement. This is what they're getting to the crew. Implement best practices. The first one's not one goes anywhere alone. We're talking about the employees. And the second one is avoid homes advertising Trump. So think about it. This is a federal freaking agency being political. And mind you, David, what if there's people in there that are dying or sick or who knows what the hell is going on? So this is the video. Let me show this video. By the way, everybody's playing the blame game, and this is her. This is Marnie Washington. God bless you, Rob. Robert is allergic to BS. I almost said the S word. He's definitely allergic to it. But this is her on Roland Martin, basically pushing the blame on everybody else, which I kind of believe her, but she played along, I think. But go ahead, play this clip.
I was notified after I demoted. The next morning, they told me verbally I was fired, but they never provided me anything in writing stating that I was fired. They all alleged that these actions were made on my own recognizances and that it was for my own political advances. However, if you look at the record, there is what we call a community trend. And unfortunately, it just so happened that the political hostility that was encountered by my team, and I was on 2 different teams during this deployment, they just so happened to have the Trump campaign signage. FEMA always preaches avoidance first and then de-escalation. So this is not isolated. This is a colossal event of avoidance, not just in the state of Florida, but you will find avoidance in the Carolinas. Senior leadership will lie to you and tell you that they do not know. But if you ask the DSA crew leads and specialists what they are experiencing in the field, they will tell you. Demand for FEMA to give you those incident reports. They will substantiate what is happening to us in the field.
So basically what she's saying is, bro, because you know what, FEMA's coming out, and I'm going to get into the FEMA's head. She's basically saying, hey, I didn't come up with this directive. She's like, it's in the group chats and everybody. FEMA is telling us, especially when it's Florida and stuff, avoid, if you see Trump events, don't help those people.
I'm not misunderstanding what her explanation was there, that she was actually sort of saying we get accosted when we go to the Trump supporter houses, so we avoid confrontation by not going there. That's sort of what her explanation is.
But then in another statement, she was like, well, all people, even people without Trump. Listen, this is just an excuse to cover all your asses. Yes, she was fired, bro, but the legal ramifications for the aftermath, I think, are huge. Because listen, you're working for the federal government. You're getting a directive to stay away. Dude, you're not helping people because you're playing politics. That's horse poop.
You guys know the principle of narcissist personality disorder, DARVO, deny, attack, reverse victim and offender.
Yeah.
And now she's basically saying the people that we didn't help who were in a time of need, it's because of them that we didn't help them because they were aggressing us. And so we avoided and then sometimes had to de-escalate. That's pathological.
Yeah, and have you ever got Humberto?
No. And if you see the demographics of people that voted for Trump, people with a Trump sign could be a 98-year-old lonely grandma.
Florida.
It could be a gangster Latino. It could be a white guy, maybe. I don't know. But I think because she admitted to it, putting everyone that had a Trump sign in the same bag and putting their life at risk for and she's throwing them under the bus. She did 2 things. She admitted guilt that they did talk about this, and then she's pulling it up to FEMA.
She's going all the way up the line. Yeah, dude, and mind you, this is, what's up, Connor?
Oh, and real quick, to that point, I want to flip back to some evidence real quick here. This message she sent out, which leaked from a internal Slack channel with FEMA people, or I don't know if it was Slack or some other
whatever,
messaging
their
thing.
group chat.
But the Daily Wire first broke the report on that, so shout out to them for this. But look at what else is on this list. This was not just some message that Marnie Washington sent saying, oh, we hate Trump supporters, we want them to die, ignore them. Look at the list. Don't go alone. Avoid Trump houses, practice de-escalation, communicate and follow the rules, bring a towel. Clearly they've been watching Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy there. Frequent breaks and drink water, don't have high salt, and then coconut water for electrolytes. These are FEMA best practices. So this is not her coming up with something and just adding it to the list. This is clearly government guidance on this subject. So even though I'm sure she shed no tears over denying aid to Trump supporters, I'm fully convinced that this is actual FEMA policy.
I would. What do you think, Amy?
I'm curious. Do you guys think that this constitutes then election interference in a way? Because what if there were houses that genuinely needed aid, possibly to be able to go and assimilate like back into society to get support? And if those houses aren't receiving any aid or any assistance, maybe that puts them in a disenfranchised position where
Then I want to get back to you, Vinny. Would you take, if you know this is going on and you're in a disaster situation, will you take your Trump sign off your lawn?
Absolutely.
Or would you die with your boots on?
Hell no.
What about you guys? I don't know.
No, you're not. I'm not. No. I'm leaving. Whatever the hell I put on my lawn zero. No, I'm gonna answer it. No.
Well, I live in an HOA, so they would.
HOA, Rob's a different. Yeah, I live in an apartment complex, but I'm just saying that should have nothing, dude. You could put Santa. I don't give a crap what you put in front of your lawn. Stopping the federal government that my tax dollars are paying. Because I'm voting for someone? No, to hell with that. And Amy, you're right, because notice Trump and all them were coming out and saying they're not helping these people because they're all Republicans. There's the proof. There's a montage, I couldn't find it. MSNBC, CNN, all these losers were like, oh, Trump is up to this. And no, he was right again. How many times do I have to tell these people he's right? They were holding it from Trump supporters.
Every conspiracy theory has proven to be true that they were taking money and giving it to illegal immigrants. Oh, no, we weren't doing that?
Yes, they were.
Yes, you were.
And they ran out of money. Alejandro Mayorkas.
They don't have enough for the rest of the season. But to Amy's point, this is beyond election interference. This is like borderline criminal negligence and possible, I don't want to say like manslaughter. If someone died as a result of this directive.
Which they might have.
Someone, it's not fired, jail. And jail for everyone who issued the directive, and jail for everyone who followed the directive.
Oh yeah.
If I get that directive and I'm operating there, I'm leaking that to the media.
It
is antithetical to human civilization to say not just like mailing things or this is a time of crisis, and to skip over their houses in a time of national emergency for political orientation. I mean, you're one step off of actually killing your neighbor.
Rob, what do you think?
Oh, it just shows what kind of garbage the people are. You're there to help people who are in need. If you've ever witnessed the aftermath of a disaster, you could go over to Fort Myers Beach right now, which is still recovering. 2.5 years ago, a hurricane hit there and wiped out the entire area, right? You drive past these $1 million homes that are gutted, and in front of the homes are trailers that these millionaires are living in while they're trying to rebuild their homes. These people lose everything. When you're going through this time, the one thing that you're hoping for is that the government will have your back, and these people are such garbage pieces of crap.
No, you're fine.
That they choose to skip over homes because of their own political identity and their own feelings regarding Donald Trump than their actual feelings towards their fellow man.
I think it's disgusting that FEMA's head, this butte. By the way, and you're right, they're going to track it. It's not like she came out with this out of the blue. They're going to find those threads and find out who started it, who said it, where it came from. They're going to get to the bottom of it. And Deanne Criswell, she's the head of FEMA. She confirmed that an employee was let go, but she didn't want to name her. She called skipping houses with Trump signs reprehensible, saying it goes against FEMA's values. Helping people equally no matter who they support. She even posted next saying, recently a FEMA employee told her team not to go to homes with Trump signs. This goes against our values of helping everyone no matter their politics. Governor, go ahead.
No, I have a question. Was there any reported incidents of Trump supporters being mean?
Can I say something? I don't think so. But, and again, you say it's always the people that are pointing. Where are all these angry, pissed off, bitter Trump supporters? It's never the Trump supporters. It's always the other side. But let me ask you a question. If your house is destroyed, your kids everyone's like, aren't you going to be a little pissed off just in general.
No,
who gives a shit who I'm voting for?
They come to your house and say, "Oh, you can go online and register for $750," and you're like, "My house is gone. I don't have internet, and I don't even have enough to
Why
go
are
to a
you?
hotel."
Yeah, it's like this. It's like anger management. Why
Don't
are you
get mad at me. I didn't cause the hurricane.
Yeah.
Let's skip the houses of all
Why
the Trump
are you mad?
supporters.
Let me explain something to you. If for anybody that's ever lost a house, I mean, my place got flooded once, but it's never been a destroyed house. You think when people show up with $750, you're gonna be like, "Oh, hi." No. I don't give a shit who I'm voting for. I don't care about my religious belief. I don't care if I'm gay, straight, black, whatever the hell you are. My house is gone, and you're trying to come to my house with $750, and you ran out of money because you're giving it to illegals that have hotels and credit cards all over the country. F you.
Yeah,
Period.
but I think it did make a difference, but it made a difference in the sense that it pissed people off.
Good.
And you're right, when in those types of situations, you're not thinking about who's the president, who's in power, unless you feel so pissed off and so disenfranchised that you're like, screw this. I'm going to make sure I get out there and vote to make sure that if this situation ever does happen again, the person who's in power is actually going to be able to handle it. Because that $750 was like a spit in the face to all of those people who suffered through that.
The same weekend, they promised $175 million in aid to Lebanon to
Right.
help rebuild from the destruction caused by the billions in aid they gave to Israel for weapons. It's all a massive insult. But I would go full throttle. Who issued the directive? Who promoted the directive? And who abided by the directive? And not just firing. Prosecution.
And prosecution without, I don't care if anybody died. No, I'm not saying I don't care. I'm saying in this regard, the fact that you did it and you risked it, jail. Straight to jail. You think I'm joking? Like, I don't give a damn, bro.
Because you said it is criminal.
It's a crime.
It's not like they can't hide behind the Good Samaritan. Well, I don't have to help someone who's in need. I don't have to save a drowning person. I suspect that's mildly wrong when you're talking about a federal agency whose job it is to help in the aftermath of a crisis. So, yeah. Jail. Yeah.
I found this awesome video. You mentioned Deanna Criswell. She is the head of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA. This is a video that came out in October where she brags about how DEI training was one of her main priorities as the FEMA director. So she's big on diversity, equity, and inclusion, unless you're a Trump supporter. That is the only time in which you're not equal to everybody else is if you're a Trump supporter and you have a sign on your front lawn. Connor, could you play this video real quick?
What are you and FEMA doing to prioritize equity when it comes to disaster recovery?
Equity.
This is something that I think about every day, and this was one of my priorities when I first came into the agency to serve in this role as FEMA administrator. You know, I took the time to reflect as I was going through the nomination process about what are the areas that I really wanted to focus on when I came to FEMA in this role. And through my time as a local emergency manager, whether it was in New York City or whether it was in Aurora, Colorado, but also my time as a federal coordinating officer during my first period with FEMA, working with states and local jurisdictions and understanding the diversity of the communities, not just cities, but the neighborhoods within the cities and the challenges that they face. And how do we make sure we understand what their barriers are to accessing the programs that they're eligible for? So we put it in my strategic plan. I have 3 goals, and equity is one of my goals, to make sure that we can deliver emergency management services in an equitable way has been a priority. And we've done a number of things, right?
Can we pause?
I have told
Can we get rid of these retards from the government? This is why I'm so excited for the Department of Government Efficiency. For fucking idiots like this to no longer get a paycheck based on our tax dollars.
Yeah.
She looks more like a disaster victim. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but
she loves diversity and equity. She's a white woman, then she should sit down and give her position over to someone who is diverse and of another. It's an amazing thing. It's the white woman with all of the so-called privileges that the white woman has, talking about the need for equity, just not with her position. Connor.
You want to know the absolute worst part of this whole thing?
What?
Was you mentioned you can't find examples of Trump supporters harassing and assaulting FEMA.
Period.
Like, sure, you could probably find some incidents where Trump supporters told FEMA operatives, hey, you guys suck at your jobs. Why aren't you helping? Why are you bankrupt? But that's not the point. What they're trying to make it sound like Trump supporters were coming out and attacking them, throwing stones at them. That didn't happen.
No,
but it's damn well about to start now.
Yeah.
Because
Connor,
now they have a concrete proof that FEMA is actually discriminating against Trump supporters. So if you wanted them to like not hate you, you went about it the exact opposite way.
Who's
Should have.
in charge of FEMA?
The head is Alejandro Mayorkas.
Alejandro Mayorkas. So the guy who is
scumbag.
Denise Carwell, the lady.
Deanne.
Deanne Carwell.
the head.
She's the head of FEMA.
But
and then
whoever
FEMA reports
to
Homeland
to
Security,
DHS.
and Homeland Security reports to the President of the United
Okay.
States.
Bottom line, Alejandro Mayorkas, who's in charge of the DHS,
Scumbag.
who is in charge of the open border invasion from the south, is now also facilitating, or at the very least in charge of, overt discrimination against now 50% of the electorate.
He is in the top 5 of, I'm not going to use the H word, but the most disliked. Like Alejandro Mayorkas is one of the biggest enemy of the people.
Hold on, what's the H?
Full stop.
What's the H word? What's the
I'm
H
not
word?
supposed to hate. I don't even want to say hate because you know what? I'm trying to be. I have to pray. This is the craziest thing about Christianity. I have to pray for him. Umberto, David, Robbie. I have to pray for him, Amy, because his soul, just like Diddy, I have to find the grace to pray for these people because, bro, they're doomed. That guy, all the girls that have gotten raped, all the drugs, all the fentanyl, my friends that OD'd. I'm sorry. Poison from fentanyl. Yeah, they were doing drugs, but they didn't know it was freaking laced. Mm-hmm. All those people that have been affected because the border is wide open, it lands on him. It lands on Alejandro Mayorkas, and I don't care. He's not getting the orders from Biden. It's somebody else. But at least we have people like our governor Ron DeSantis, who spoke up, the best governor, saying that Florida will investigate what happened. This is the tweet right here. Rob, he said, the weaponizing of the government by partisan activists in federal offices is yet another reason why the Biden-Harris administration is in its final days. I've directed Florida's Division of Emergency Management to investigate the federal government's targeted discrimination against Floridians who support Donald Trump. Good. New leadership is coming to D.C., and I'm hopeful these partisan bureaucrats will be removed. By the way, and I think this situation is a deeper problem. It's not just about the FEMA. It's about the pattern of these political bias agencies, bro. The idea that the relief is politicized. Dude, and it's not just them. Look at the FBI. If you watch the whole Crossfire Hurricane, Russia collusion, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, all these, Andy McCabe, bro, that's the deep state in full force, and they work for the government.
Every aspect of the federal government has been weaponized for political purposes to go after their ideological ends.
100%.
Every aspect of it. And they said this was not true when it was brought up, and it's confirmed true now, which makes the MSM culpable or at least complicit in all of this. By the way, if you want to get away from the hate being a sin, despise. You can say despise.
Despise him.
And it's okay to despise people.
Okay, but this just shows, I think this shows like the depth of the cancer that lives inside the government. And I think this type of story might have triggered somebody named Donald Trump, because he announced yesterday, like Rob said, that Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy will lead the new department called the Department of Government Efficiency. By the way, DOGE, D-O-G-E, DOGE. Their job will be to cut unnecessary rules and stop wasteful spending. Bro, he's going to come in with the kitchen sink and just clean house. And but MSNBC and everybody today were tripping out. They're like, oh, God, who is this? President Musk? He's like, no. It's going to be somebody in there that knows how to run a business, because this country needs to go back to being run like a business, bro. Yeah. Like a boss. Donald Trump is the boss, and everybody needs to fall in line.
Elon comes in, takes over Twitter, cuts the staff by, 75%?
80% in total.
And it works better than before. Imagine what he can do with the federal government.
Exactly.
And he already, who did he put Secretary of Defense? Peter
Hegseth.
I love that guy.
Stud.
We had him on the podcast. He's a stud. He got in trouble, and they said he was a domestic terrorist for having a tattoo of the cross here.
Yeah. And they said it looked like it was
No. They told him to stand down, and they labeled him a domestic terrorist. So I can't wait for him to get in there.
That's a guy that graduated from Princeton, went into the Army National Guard, served his country, went to Guantanamo Bay, got out, then went back to Harvard, became a political analyst, went on TV, and then today I saw Wendell Pierce, the guy that was he was on The Wire. This guy was popular 25 years ago, and he's sitting there saying that Peter Hegseth is not qualified to be the Secretary of Defense. I'm like, you pretend for a living. You're entire job is pretending to be someone else. This guy is actually trained for
guy,
the job.
yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
No, but Rob, they don't know that he served 20 years and served twice in combat. You got Elizabeth Warren, who didn't know it when she tweeted out, "Why are you picking a Fox News commentator?" Jim Acosta,
doesn't know.
Don Lemon, and David Pakman. A bunch of idiots who I made fun of in my video today. Stay tuned. They don't know. They tweet out reflexively, "Oh, a Fox News commentator," not knowing he's a 2+ decade, multiple award winning Bronze Star twice,
Author.
and served in two combats. And they think he's just a Fox News host. Idiots.
The same week that it's Veterans Day, and these people get on camera and tell you how grateful they are to the veterans who have served this country. Then they go and they besmirch a veteran unknowingly because they don't even do their due diligence.
Yep.
Rob, you met him. Like, I'm not a fanboy.
He's a
here,
G.
but he is the real deal.
Yeah.
He walks in and he talks.
I would hate to be killed though, like in combat, by a good-looking dude. Like that'd be the worst. Like, oh, you son of a, like God, you should be a model. And then I die. No, but dude, good for him. And then, dude, the other rumor, because I want to move on the Rob story, is press secretary might be Alina Habba. Oh,
yeah.
dude, nobody. Remember Kylie McEnany? She'd be like, oh, you want to talk about the economy? Big ass folder, like that. I can't wait. Anyway, all right, Rob.
Ugly government officials is coming to an end under Trump.
Well, dude, Karine Jean-Pierre is going to be by. I'm going to
now be hot
celebrate
people
that
only.
day like it's my birthday.
There couldn't actually be a better choice for that. Like, there's the joking, sort of half-serious Alex Jones. I really couldn't think of anybody better. You know, Peter
the best.
Doocy, she is the best, and she's got a vendetta against the fake news and the government. And
I love when she walked out of all these courtrooms with Trump. Trump let her walk into the front, and she's like, "This is just," and she would put everybody on blast. Alina's the best. The
she's
best.
so bright. Every time
knows.
we have her, I'm like, wow.
She knows.
What
Bright.
did you text yesterday?
Well, I said that I will never, ever again miss a press conference at the White House.
I'm
I love her. Because, this is better. Because my other road to Alina Habba is to stage another insurrection for her to defend me. So this is a lot easier.
Oh, dude. And speaking of, you know what you should do? Put the notification bell on. Subscribe to, what is it, the White House?
They need to fix that. We need notifications.
Well, speaking of that, everybody who's watching right now, can you please take a second, just 1 second, and subscribe really quick. Just quick. Stop. Thumbs up. Boom. Hit it. All right. So if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.